I'm Amy Whitfield, the Executive Director of the Domestic Violence Resource Center. We also go by DVRC Incorporated. The Domestic Violence Resource Center is the largest service provider of domestic violence services in New Mexico. We're 21 years old, and we have some really exciting services that focus on a healing path for victims of domestic violence. So we have crisis advocacy that is part of the Family Advocacy Center here in Albuquerque, where our advocates can help people who are really in the middle of a domestic violence situation. And then we have kind of a secondary place on our continuum services is our counseling department. And our counseling department offers individual counseling, group counseling, wellness groups, and then also they offer counseling for child witnesses. And so that along the path of anyone trying to seek services, that we have something for everyone along the way. Unfortunately, domestic violence is such a huge part of society. It's a huge part in the nation, but it's also really big here in New Mexico and in Albuquerque. And so that when we talk about crime, domestic violence is one of our largest crimes in Albuquerque. And victims often aren't supported. The process of victimization has isolated them from their support networks, and so they don't necessarily have anyone to go to, or when they do go to someone, they're treated as if it's their fault. They're blamed. They're told, well, just make that work out because, you chose this relationship. And so we really are a voice for victims, not just a voice to be their voice, but a place where they can come and say, what's happening to me is not okay. And we can respond with, you're absolutely right. I think one of the things that is really important for us as a community or for us as individuals is to recognize that domestic violence is such a very new legal term. And so that it's only been recently that people are talking about domestic violence as wrong. And so that we really need to step up our game a little bit and make sure that everyone who's suffering from domestic violence understands that it is a crime, that it is something that shouldn't happen to them, that it's something that they don't deserve, and that our community really should be holding offenders accountable for that. There are a lot of domestic violence tools out there and a lot of national websites and national toolkits and resources, but we don't have something specific for our community. Albuquerque doesn't have a place where they can go and hear the words of, this is what's happening in Albuquerque right now. We're so reliant on what's happening nationally, and we have a very different culture that we want to make sure our website is speaking to New Mexican culture and to Albuquerque current events. A grant from Albuquerque Involved really would allow us to build the website. It would allow us to have a website that we can change often because, when there's current events, when there's things happening policy-wise, we really want to be able to have an updated response for our community.